243?
which is 9 divisible.
My name is Andy, and I play Ratcatchers, and I play Kador, and I play Retribution.
Double checking my math here.
What's your math?
243 is 9 times 27, which means it's 3 times 3 times 3 cubed. So that's pretty awesome for somebody who's obsessed with the number 3 to their OCD like I am. So 243 is pretty fucking sick. 27 times 9? Hell yeah.
Oh, I didn't even put our video up on the chat up on the screen at all. All right, I said my intro already.
My name's Nathan, and I play...
T.O.
Yeah, T.O. Yeah, I guess.
And I'm Dave, and I play Kador, I guess.
And I'm Dan.
Maybe Legion.
Crucible Guard.
I am so looking forward to a couple months from now when I can say I'm Nathan, and I play... Shadow Sun Syndicate or whatever. Like, I'm so looking forward to just listing my Monpok faction.
Months away.
Month? Weeks?
Month away.
Month away. I will run Monpok leagues. I guarantee it. I am so excited for that fucking game. So excited.
I am very excited. I'm not very excited for the pricing for Gen Con. Since I've always been getting the press badge, I have yet to really pay attention at all to what it costs to actually get tickets to Gen Con. And I was thinking, like, hey, I'll show up on Saturday. Ooh. Saturday would be fine. I could show up and, hang out. I got some invites from other merchants there. $70 for a day at Gen Con is way too much goddamn money.
Yeah.
And that's before figuring out how you're going to get 3 square feet to sleep on when you go to Gen Con.
Or driving to Indianapolis and back in one day.
Yeah, that's also the hard part, too, is you're driving like 8 hours, 10 hours there and back.
See, the way I have it figured out is what you do is... fuck Gen Con.
Sure.
And that solves all those problems.
Yeah.
Like, I just, the whole, once there was the fucking lottery for the hotel rooms and you had to, like, get a ticket to get a chance to buy a ticket to get a hotel room, it's like, fuck you. I'll just not.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Adepticon is getting bad enough. Fuck Gen Con.
I was going to say, if you absolutely need that impersonal huge con experience, you can go to Adepticon, which is not yet crossed the utter miserable Schwarzschild radius.
You can go to Adepticon, you can go to Origins, you can go to Gamehole Con here in Madison, Wisconsin, and get that type of experience.
Well, you go to Adepticon. See, it still is the case where Adepticon is where you go to play games and like look at models and stuff like that. Gen Con, do not bring minis. Do not bring any fucking games. You go to Gen Con to wander around and see from a distance / maybe wait an hour in line to get an autograph of an actual celebrity, and then that's it. Like, you don't get that yet at Adepticon, right? They don't have that. So,
well, kind of thank God they don't have that yet.
Sure, but I'm just saying...
Adepticon it's meant to be more of a minis convention than it is
yes. Yeah. And so my point is they're different things. And if I see people go to Gen Con and, like, bring minis and play in the tournaments and stuff, it's just, no. No,
that's
don't.
Fine. I mean, like, if it's something smaller, like Blood Bowl it's a single day event though, too.
I mean, also if you could legitimately fit it into a backpack, it becomes a much easier.
Correct.
Yeah, people bringing like 2 battle foam bags full of Warmachine to play. It's like, yeah, no.
Or somebody we know bringing their entire collection of Firefly the board game and playing it at Gen Con. Like, what?
Yeah.
You can play that in your basement every day. And then also you play it with the same people that you normally play with on a regular basis instead of new people.
And if they really need to, they could give me $500 to experience the Gen Con experience and still do it at their house, and everyone wins.
Yeah. Well, and
I mean, if you really want to, for the same $500, I could get a lot of people to just show up and stand next to you while you're playing your game.
Make sure they all smell bad.
Yeah.
They need to have not bathed for a week.
Yeah.
Like, I will do gaming at Gen Con, but it's more like... I don't get to play Mega Civ, right? Like, I own it. It doesn't hit the table because it's a big thing. It's an event thing. Like, I will go to Gen Con and sign up for their Mega Civ event, you know, or like if they have like a Amun-Re tournament or something like that. Like, that's a cool, unique thing to do. But, I mean, if you're a top pro-level gamer and you're trying to win a tournament to get into Warmachine Weekend or something, fine,
it's
right?
It's actually a good one to do
because no one else goes there. But if you just want a casual, like, oh my lord, do not play Iron Arena at Gen Con. Like, really, like, calm down. Like, no.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my advice.
I'm as I said, if you want the big con feel, just go to Adepticon because it is not nearly as miserable and it's huge now. And the actual vendor hall at this year's Adepticon was really big. It was, if anything, better than the last Gen Con Adepticon or Gen Con vendor hall I went to because there was more stuff in the Adepticon vendor hall that I was actually interested in.
But you don't get to almost get Billy D. Williams' autograph. And I got to almost get Billy D. Williams' autograph at Gen Con.
Do you know how much I value almost getting Billy D. Williams' autograph?
I know how much everybody else in that fucking line valued almost getting his autograph. They did not value it very highly at all. They were very vocal about how not highly they autograph. It's like, oh, there's an hour-long autograph line. He shows up 15 minutes late and leaves 15 minutes early, so half of us didn't get an autograph. We are not happy.
Didn't you get, what's her name, to sign your scorn book?
Felicia Day and Will Wheaton signed my Scorn book. I got a bunch of people to sign my Hackmaster book, including like a bunch of voice actors, like the guy who does Krillin from Dragon Ball Z. He signed my Hackmaster book, but Felicia Day and Will Wheaton signed my Scorn book.
That was by far not the most confusing thing they signed.
No, probably not. I did, man. I felt kind of bad. But on the other hand, they don't work. But all of the people from the league were lined up on that table, and it's like 5 or 6 actors, and just every fucking nerd just walked past all of them to go just to Felicia Day and then leave. They're all in the same autograph table.
Jason and whatever his last
Mimosa?
Name. Yeah, I cannot
He's not in the league, is he? Or not the league?
Jason?
I'm sorry, not the league. The guild.
The guild, okay.
Yeah, sorry, the guild.
I was going to say, like, if it was the league, I would have...
Not the league, I'm sorry. The guild, the thing that Felicia Day's on.
Correct.
So the whole cast was there, and everybody in the line just walked past everybody else to get Felicia Day's autograph and leave. And they're just sitting there. They know. They fucking know.
No. Poor people.
But no, I enjoyed Adepticon, and I'm going to enjoy not going to Gen Con this year.
You know what you should enjoy going to?
The Wisconsin Team Championship.
The WiTC. Sign-up's still open. We actually have a lot of teams signing up the last couple days as everybody waits for the last Moinute, like people do. Moinute's not a word, but I'm sticking with it. Everybody's waiting for the last Moinute.
Did Jake sign our team up?
I don't know.
Okay.
Wait, you're serious?
He was collecting money for it, so that may or may not mean anything.
You show up for the day of the event, your team's not signed up, and Jake's like, I'm rich, bitch!
I got $75. I remember Dan signed up, and his team name I liked, but I forgot.
Right now it's placeholder team featuring Little John.
The featuring Little John is what I liked, yeah. Because everything features Little John.
Sure.
So
did you sign up with those guys? All right.
So does that mean you're helping me run?
So now,
or do you need 2 more people?
I need 2 more people
okay.
to help the Andy's mercenaries.
Or you can be coach like Hollywood was at the ATC last year for the Muse guys.
Oh,
by Hollywood you mean?
I said Hollywood.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, did you? So you just needed me to sit behind you with my phone streaming Bailey J for you?
I would love if you would do that during the WITC. That is your official job.
Don't look up Bailey J.
Yeah, don't Google that.
Whatever. Whatever you're into, you're into.
I mean, like I don't want to
in our chat.
But yeah, you have nebulously some like the rest of the week. Not really the rest of the week, but it's like till Thursday, I think.
I don't know.
The 13th, I believe.
No, that would be Friday.
I think it is Friday.
Yeah,
Friday
that's why I said
13th.
nebulously the rest of the week, because I knew it wasn't quite the next of the week.
I got so much stuff showing up on the 12th.
Oh, it is Friday the 13th. That makes it easy to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have like some shadow stuff coming in from Flying Frog. I got some more shadow stuff coming in from Broken
Crucible
Token.
Guard.
No Crucible
The
Guard.
last
Guard.
of the
And
the
Crucible
last
Guard.
of the shadows of, or the last of the Mansions of Madness stuff that I don't own is on the boat from China, so it'll eventually show up.
Nice.
And I
I got a new pad too.
Smash.
Do some damage.
was saying you might have you set that up on Conflict Chamber yet?
I haven't done anything at all because I'm literally the worst.
Okay. I will say that one of the things that has kind of impressed me lately is that people have been signing big events on Conflict Chamber and not telling me, which I think is awesome because it means that the software is at the point of reliability that people just do big stuff on it without bothering to tell me because it just works.
Yeah, I saw that that Rick had run the events or the team event that was over at Pegasus completely through not through a PC or anything. He just ran it completely through his phone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is awesome because that's one of the major features that I saw as a Guild Ball when I ran tournaments with Guild Ball.
And he did the 3-player team thing just like the WITC.
Correct.
Yeah. And he did it just through Conflict Chamber? Wasn't using his ring dev thing anymore?
It's integrated.
Oh,
so
it is
you
integrated.
sign up through Conflict Chamber and then you use the ATC software to actually run it.
Yeah. The way it works right now is that when you have an event set up, there's a JSON data download you can do from Conflict Chamber, and that feeds into both the ATC/WITC software and PG Swiss.
Oh man, I'm gonna print out the team pairing cards and everything before. Fuck, man. Okay.
I can do that.
No, it's fine. I work at a print shop.
Well, I mean,
I did it last year. I have the file from last year. I'll just have to sub in team names.
Oh, I mean, I'm literally right now working on the code for doing PDF stuff from Conflict Chamber anyway, so I can add that as a feature pretty quickly.
Okay, full color print 2.5 by 3.5 inch cards in laminated card stock, and I'll not pay you for it.
I mean, not do the physical printing.
Well, that's what I said I had to do.
Well, I say I can generate the documents
I have
for
to
you.
print and cut. And,
yeah, I can generate the documents for you. That's what
document. I already have a spreadsheet I made last year. I just have to type in team names and it generates it all in there, which I know you're saying that would just be like an import, like a mail merge.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's the actual construction that I'm not looking forward to because that's a lot of chopping.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you
Broccoli.
have like kids living at home that you can farm that work out to?
Yeah. Feh.
He's got kids working at his store.
Yeah.
Or maybe not
kids.
working.
Punk kids, they don't want to work these days, them youngins with their avocado toasts.
Are we going to talk about millennials now?
Oh, look at them fucking people in their 30s.
Yeah. Are you?
Yeah, like
entertaining my people.
Yeah, like that's the thing is millennials are not teenagers. People just keep using the term to dismiss and belittle an entire generation that's been fucked. True story.
Yep.
In fairness, we're assholes.
That's true. In fairness, you have every right to be angry. Yeah, that's the main announcement. WITC sign-up still open. Closes on midnight, end of the Friday the 13th.
July 28th.
Or whenever we get an even number of teams after that.
Sure. Yes.
What?
The last 2 years,
late team submissions.
Like it closed at like 15. We're like, we'll let one more in. Like we know you're late, but just sign up.
Yeah, last year the
3 of the 4 ones.
Yeah, last year it was the team that squeaked in just to make it even was the one that won it.
There you go. Somebody in chat talking about old boomers complaining about them Pokemoners. Fuck those guys.
I mean, hey, at least there's an app that gets people to go out and do things. I mean that's not the person working the GitHub
it's
app
like
or
the old meme, like old people would be like, "You need to get outside more," and then kids go out with Pokemon Go, "Not like that."
As it turns out, that
event I think that was happening.
Yeah, they keep. There was like an Arcturino, some bird event. I don't know my Pokemon.
It's been 2 years since I've done Pokemon Go. Does it actually work now?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
do the footsteps work?
No.
Well, then no.
Well, I think they've.
I don't care about that. Do they just actually have the server capacity to make it work?
It seems like it.
Because that's what I remember from when I stopped playing it was that they got like 50,000 users in 2 days and did not have the ability to scale.
See, I stopped using it when the footprint stopped working, so you would just be wandering aimlessly. I liked the actual gameplay, so to speak, of trying to figure out what direction things were based on the footprints.
Yeah. Unplayable Trash Panda says footsteps kind of work now, ? This is how you know you're dealing with quality software if years after the fact that core features kind of work.
If you squint at them the right way.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
that had
to be a
so.
very interesting 2 weeks to be on their IT team, where they're like, "Oh shit, we just got 100,000 users. What can we turn off to make this work for a little bit?"
Yeah, that's that. I imagine that moment that it's the moment of oh my god, we have 1 million users. Oh my god, we're set for 10,000. What do we do now?
As long as I get to catch innocent wild creatures, grind them into a meat paste that I feed cannibalistically to each other, and then force them to fight to the death, that's all I need.
You make them in candy.
Well, it's meat paste with added sugar.
Yeah.
So you want to play Ice Simulator?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man, there's got to be a reskinned Pokemon Go where that you just walk around and fight. Oh, I hope nobody's actually made that.
There is, I mean, the other cool thing about the Pokemon
All right,
Go.
David, add it to the terrible app idea list.
Yeah, we had. Yeah, I had a great one today because we talked about this last week. But I think I've got the new thing to capture enough venture capital funding to break through, take everything, and flee the country. And that is, we're going to have a Battle Royale blockchain program.
That's superhero themed.
It's superhero themed.
That's my contribution. I get half.
Well, it needs loot boxes.
Because if you put blockchain next to what you're doing, people will venture capitalists will throw money at you. And now everything in gaming now is battle royale. So if we have a blockchain based battle royale game, we'll make $1 billion.
I don't know blockchain.
No one knows blockchain.
Yeah, that's why people are making and losing millions and billions of dollars on it.
Oh.
I mean, practically a battle royale blockchain is just a cryptocurrency exchange because it's just a stock market at that point.
Oh.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I need to
Goddamn millennials.
I need to check if Devolver Digital has any more loot box coins in stock. I need a loot box coin.
That company is fucking amazing.
Like still my header sold out. God damn
almost every one of their games they make are just really well done and touch me in a very special place.
More importantly, their E3 presentations are the greatest cinematic marvels that humanity has ever seen. The fact that this most E3 2018 they rolled out loot box coin, which was a cryptocurrency with no value, no way to spend it, no way to get it, no way to cash it in. The only way you could get it was off their website, and the price fluctuated randomly every hour.
Sure.
And it's literally just like a plastic coin with no value at all. But you could pay anywhere from I think it went from $50 to up to $200. It just randomly fluctuated. And people bought that shit because they appreciate that dedication to the meme that they actually sold loot box coin. Why do I work for a bank? Dude, if you have not watched the Devolver Digital E3
I know, but between this and me and Brian just being too lazy to start the scam pack in 2016... I have passed in so many unethical ways of making money at this point.
Tomorrow's unethical business practices today.
Wait, question. Is scamming VC investors actually unethical?
As long as it's not an angel investor, they don't have ethics to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, that's
that's our cryptocurrency portion of the Crippled System podcast.
Yeah. I mean, that was the thing.
It's better than Gwent.
Yeah, I mean, literally, one of my friends on Facebook posted a link to an article that was talking about putting tomatoes on the blockchain, and at that point, I'm like, okay, it's like if I say blockchain anything and somebody gives me $1 million of venture capital and I walk away with it, I'm okay with that. I no longer have any ethical concerns about that. We have reached saturation. And
speaking of Pokemon Go, supposedly there's going to be an integration with a Switch game that's coming out soon. You're going to be able to import your Pokemon Go stuff from that to your Switch, which is pretty darn cool.
And there's going to be a Pikmin and the Eevees. They're going to be the two varieties you can get.
Oh.
Speaking of Switch, I was disappointed that the Fire Emblem game got pushed off from this year till next year. Because I like me some Fire Emblem.
Man, when is there going to be brand new games coming out for the Switch? Because
there's 3 of them.
Because fuck, they're all about just let's import this, let's import that.
There aren't any new games anymore. We have already come up with all of the games.
Well, not only that, I mean, this is a Nintendo product. They're even less likely to have new games.
But ironically, they'll still not have the old games.
Yes.
They'll bring over Shovel Knight, but not Super Mario 3.
They probably lost the code for Super Mario 3 at this point.
You know what? I can find it right there on Andy's computer in 45 seconds.
Maybe a little bit.
I went home after we talked about it, and I don't even have a fucking emulator, but within 5 minutes, I was able to play Destiny of an Emperor after we talked about it on here.
Sure.
And the Japan-only sequel.
Sure. My Facebook feed is riddled with advertisements from Amazon giving me like 250 in one cartridges.
Yeah. No. Ooh, Octopath Traveler does drop this week. I downloaded the demo of that, and I was scared to play it. Because I started the demo, it pops up, and it's like, you have 3 hours. Yeah. As far as it gets, as far as you get, but you got 3 hours, then you're fucking done, buddy. And then I'm like, oh no, and I closed it.
Well, if you buy the game, you're continue on.
Yeah, but what if I do those 3 hours wrong?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what I don't. So I just panicked and closed it.
Yeah.
But no, Dan, actually, given current technology with decompilation, we could probably get better source code than the original for an 8-bit ROM.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
No, you don't want better code because you need to have all the same like glitches and shit so speedrunners can use it.
Well, I mean, you would get stuff that would compile to the same glitchy stuff. But I mean, some of the stuff that people I work on is stuff like decompiling code and then using AI to generate variable names and
make it
automatically
readable.
make stuff readable.
Wait, are we talking about 8-bit Nintendo games? Or
Yeah.
So what would better? How would it be better? How do you better but still the same glitches?
Well, I mean, you could generate source code that would compile to the same thing with better annotation.
To what end?
So
it's more understandable.
Can read it.
Yeah. So like another coder can look at it and go like, oh, that's how he did that.
Yeah.
Annotation is basically just
why
footnotes in a code?
Because every swap in my
so you want to take Super Mario Brothers 3 and recode it to be the exact same game, glitches and all, but the code better explains why the glitches are there?
Yeah. Well,
why?
The code explains why things are still there.
So, Nathan, I'm pretty sure you understand science, but apparently you don't understand scientists, because this is the kind of shit we do.
So pointless.
As I was saying, this is the kind of shit we do. Oh, I mean, also that's when we're not using AI to build drone autopilots that can identify faces out of crowds and deliver things to them.
Yeah.
Does our technology recognize certain races' faces?
Oh my god, they're immune to this technology. Oh, those racist HP cameras. That was so good. Fucking A.
What was
White privilege is your webcam recognizing your existence. Smash is this year. Smash is, I don't know. Like,
that's a new game.
The last I played Smash was the original Super Smash Brothers for the Nintendo 64. I haven't played one since then. And now they've got like 700 characters. I don't even
No Waluigi in this one, though.
Yeah, well, fuck Waluigi.
I think I played the one on Wii, and that's the only one I've played.
I played one on Wii.
I was like psychotically good at the original one, and then I got rusty.
We played a lot of the GameCube one in high school.
Yeah, because I used to spend a lot of time with like old school fighters, and if you're used to an old school 2D fighters, I never really thought Smash Brothers was all that fun. It was too sloppy.
On the other hand, the mechanic
you embraced it for its sloppiness.
I understand that. But
and the slop isn't even. I mean, sure, maybe it's sloppy, but it legitimately has a different core mechanic from almost any other fighter, and that makes it unique. Like the percentage going up and then the fling out death versus actual hit bars is really an interesting concept.
Yeah. David, which character did you play on Tekken?
On which Tekken?
I'm finding out if you're an Eddie Gordo or not.
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, that was Tekken. I spent a lot more time with Tekken 1. I honestly mostly played Heihachi and Armor King.
I was a Dead or Alive guy, which is a shame because playing Dead or Alive for the gameplay is like reading Playboy for the articles. Like, nobody believes you. It's like, I swear, I really like the game mechanics.
The multi-rings and that smash throughs and
the whole counter system, like the high counters, low counters for punches and kicks and reversals, like it was really fluid, like kung fu-esque. Also, giant titties flapping around.
Fuck your friend. Fuck
your
friend who figured out how to do counters all the time.
Oh yeah,
because. Fuck him.
I was that guy.
I hated it.
The fighting games I played the most were Samurai Showdown 2, Street Fighter Alpha 3, and Soul Calibur.
Samurai. I didn't even hear what else you said after Samurai Showdown 2. So who was your Genan?
Huh?
Genan?
Cham Cham.
I was a Darkstalkers guy. Darkstalkers.
Darkstalkers, I enjoyed Darkstalkers, but I mean, I played Cham Cham when people asked me to, because that was my best character that I almost lost a friendship because I was playing Jubei, and he said, why don't you bring out your best character after he was feeling good with the characters he was practicing, and I flawless victoried him 3 games in a row.
So you playing Cham Cham is the equivalent of I am not left-handed?
Yes.
Okay.
Brian was actually he was really good with Earthquake for some odd reason. He just embraced and did well with him.
Yeah.
I was really good with
this was a long time ago when I was actually good at games. But yeah, I could play Cham Cham remarkably well.
Sorry, I'm Facebooking.
Why are you Facebooking? What?
I would do this under our account, but for some reason, I was trying to like and respond to people with our account, and I couldn't all day today. I don't know if it's my new phone, maybe it doesn't have the login saved yet, but I can't figure out in the Facebook app how... First of all, it forces me to respond to Crippled System stuff as Crippled System, not as myself, which is fine, except then it won't let me do it. Everything I try to do doesn't stick. It says failed to respond, so I can't find a fix there.
And then I played a lot of Soul Calibur. Was the Elvis impersonator.
A game I liked that was underappreciated because it was never released was Thrill Kill, which you may recall for the PS1. It was a game that was under development. It was 99% complete, and then the company got purchased by Sony. It might have even been EA, hilariously enough, because that's what EA does. The company developing it was purchased by them, and then the new mother company said, this game's too edgy, violent, gory, so they shelved it forever. They never released it. But the neat thing about it was that it was a 4-player fighter, and this was back on the PS1 before stuff like Smash Brothers and whatnot made having multiple, 4 people a common thing. But instead of your health going down, as you were aggressive, as you dealt damage, no matter who you dealt damage to, your meter would fill. And when your meter filled, you just picked one of the other 3 people and just fucking killed them. And then everybody's meters would empty, and now 3 people were fighting. And so turtling did not work. You had to be aggressive and do the damage. And, if somebody was turtling, you would just pick them as the kill because fuck that guy.
It was the first video game to get the adults-only rating.
Yeah. It must have been preemptive, though, because it never was released. Had some cool characters. One of the characters actually had... in Soul Calibur, there's the creepy dude that has, the 2 different stances.
Oh, Voldo.
Voldo, yeah. There was a contortionist lady in Thrill Kill that was supposed to have multiple different stances, but that's the one thing that didn't get coded before it was shelved. So the bootlegs were 100% done except for that. That's my fighting game story.
I always envisioned Voldo as being the inspiration for, not Mordekar, for Warmachine.
Yeah.
For who?
Not Mordekar.
Morgul.
I can see it.
That's how I always envisioned as being.
Does Voldo actually predate Morgul? I think Morgul may be older.
Morgul is definitely older than Voldo.
Well, then Voldo can't be the inspiration for Morgul, is the point.
No. Voldo was 90s, late 90s.
He said it backwards.
I said back.
Okay.
I meant it. I didn't mean it exactly the way I said it. Is that Voldo?
You said Morgul is older than Voldo.
No, I didn't mean that. No.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think. Whatever. Hooray!
Okay, yeah, Soul Blade was older than I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 90s.
95, I was...
Because that was PS1 days.
Yeah, good stuff. There's also, what was it called? I think it's Psychic Force? I haven't been Psychic Force, but there was 3D, flying around fighting, which was really cool at the time. It's not a very interesting story, and I apologize for bringing it up.
Do we have anything else to talk about?
That's all I got.
I saw Ant-Man this morning.
And the Wasp?
Ant-Man and the Wasp, yeah.
Yeah, I saw it last night.
Anybody else see it? No,
Yeah,
other
I saw
than
it.
David. All right.
At least one of us here hasn't seen it, so...
Yeah. It was really good.
Yeah, it was a lot better than I was expecting.
I think I'm probably one of the... I don't say I'm minority. I really like the first movie, and this movie really continued on with that same style of humor.
I think everyone liked the first one, but in such a disposable, yeah, I like it, sure, kind of way. Like, it's not a heavyweight movie. It doesn't sit with you, and so it's nobody's like, oh, it's my favorite because of this. It's like, yeah, it was fun. Yay. It's just cotton candy.
I mean, I also like the comic book movies that are focused on the individual heroes who aren't godly powered.
Yeah.
I mean,
so not Ant-Man, then.
Yeah, Ant-Man is pretty godly powered. He's
well, I mean,
kind of ish.
It's if you
he has one of those powers where if the guy, it's like the Flash. If the character in the movie understood at all points in time how strong he was, he is God.
Yeah.
But the movies rely on them forgetting that they are God.
Yeah. I mean, the Flash is like that. It's like, okay, it's like if you can propel yourself to 0.9 C, you are a god made flesh, and Flash kind of doesn't.
Once, like, the comics cranked it so high. Like, if he's just fast, he's just fast. But once he turned off, like, I think it was every cell phone, either turned off or turned on. But he went through the entire planet Earth, checking everybody's pockets and purses to get to every cell phone in, like, a tenth of a picosecond. So once you have him that fast...
Why?
First of all, why? Like, and literally.
I mean, that's the thing is you go to the physics of that is that if you move fast enough to do that,
first the Earth blows up.
Well, speed force, and maybe the speed force. It's not even the physics; it's the fact that in 1 picosecond he ends all crime, all poverty, all hunger, all war, all everything. It's gone, right?
Yeah.
He can harvest all the crops and make enough food for everybody and hand deliver sandwiches to every hungry person on the planet. He can find every drug lab. He can disassemble every tank and every nuclear weapon. Like, there is no war or crime or poverty or misery ever again instantly as soon as that's his power.
Yeah.
Which means you have to break out the good Superman writers or the stories
No.
crappy really quickly.
What
And
you need to do
be a gorilla.
What you need to do is you need to put him in an office with robotic bees.
Oh no, bees!
But no, I mean, yes. If you had the Ant-Man suit, you would be godly powered because just the physics of being able to add and remove mass like that on demand is just ridiculously powerful.
What do you mean? The mass stays the same. That's why he punches as hard as he does. Ignore all the plot holes this opens up, please. We weren't thinking when we had that line in the first movie.
But no,
he rides on an ant. He can't weigh 150 pounds.
And also, if he weighed 150 pounds when he was 60 foot tall, he would evaporate.
Yes. He's a wizard. Like, don't try to claim anything.
Yeah. I mean, yes.
The dude had a tank as a key ring. How's that work, Mr. Mass is contained?
Yeah, or the guy is the Matchbox car box that had like 40 shrunk vehicles in it that people were carrying around. Just if you could actually do the stuff that they said, you would have godly powers. But still, Scott Lang is just a dude, and he has a suit that sometimes works.
Yeah, the car issue with the Matchbox car is like, I know cars don't like it if they're upside down or other positions.
Were they all electric?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then yes, because gas likes to be where gas is supposed to be.
Yeah. Not upside down, like all the oil and everything. Yeah, it just seemed.
But it would be a little.
But it's something that in my mind I knew had to just like, nope, forget it. Don't.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, if it's direct injected and not carbureted, it might work. Because if the fuel system is pressurized, if the fuel system and the oil system are pressurized, you probably got more force than gravity dealing with it.
Talking about an old man here.
Okay.
With his collection of cars.
I mean, every car. Yeah, I mean, every carbureted car in that is just not going to work. Yeah.
But also, actually, it would probably just leak out the gas tank, the gas intake.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of superhero movies, because, I know I don't oft-times say creepy things on the podcast, but last week I mentioned that I thought Elastigirl's butt looked bigger in Incredibles 2. Yeah, so a couple days later, and I never brought it up, but Raylene was like, man, I really think Elastigirl's hips were a lot bigger in the second movie. So it's not just me, okay? I think they were.
I just love the difference in the difference in the perspective of that story is that Raylene was like her hips were bigger and Nathan was like, nope, but this is our measurement, but
she definitely has thighs going on in that movie.
We have to bring up Super 8 again.
No, we don't have to. But no!
Every time Jim brings up a Fanning, any Fanning, and I'm like, oh, it's the one that was in Super 8? No, that's her sister. Where have the Fannings gone, though? I haven't seen them.
No, they don't. One of them was in Neon Demon, right?
I don't know what Neon Demon is.
It was an artsy-fartsy film that came out last year.
Yeah. Meh.
I think Elle Fanning's in something that's coming out soon.
But yeah, no,
Oh, Elle Fanning was in Neon Demon, yeah. Mary Shelley, Beguiled? No, nothing? Okay.
Ant-Man and the Wasp was a good film. You should go watch it.
Yeah.
It is very solid.
I mean, there hasn't been a bad Marvel movie. Like a Marvel movie I'd say do not go see for years and years.
Iron Man 3.
Yeah, Iron Man 3 is fine, too. It's definitely, I mean, it would be what
Iron Man 3
Nathan
is
considers...
one of the worst 3 Marvel films.
Yeah.
Iron Man?
Iron Man 3. Iron Man was fine.
Iron Man 3, Captain America 2, and The Incredible Hulk are the 3 worst Marvel films.
Oh, I like
Not necessarily in that order.
I like The Incredible Hulk.
It's
a lot,
fine.
so.
I don't dislike it, but the bar's really high.
Yeah, I would say, saying it's the worst Marvel movies.
I still would see Incredible. Like, I wouldn't advise not seeing The Incredible Hulk. It's just kind of...
It's not necessary for the films.
I stand by Thor Dark World, as does Chat, and I don't think Iron Man 2 is as bad as people say. I liked Whiplash.
I don't think. Yeah, I mean, I thought Iron Man 2 was fine. Iron Man 3 was the one that I didn't see it in the theater, and then it was on TV at home, and we were watching it, and I just kind of wandered off halfway through. So I never actually finished watching it because I just didn't.
I
think
liked
it was
the interaction
interesting.
with Tony and the kid.
Yep.
Okay, and I can respect what they were going for with the Mandarin, even if it.
It definitely...
I understand it was a bold decision. But yeah, and I like Tony and the kid, but just, oh, look, you're all splody people, and now you're gonna blow up all your suits because she told you to, but not, and then maybe no, and
Well, and
this
wasn't
is all
that
dumb.
right when they really started switching to the full meta plot idea as well?
Yeah, I don't know.
And yeah, and Iron Man 3 had that whole. I mean, the ending of it felt way too Deus Ex Machina with just we're going to have an army of AI-driven suits, because it's like, okay, what problems can't you solve with that?
Yep.
Well, then you blow them up, and then you don't have to worry about
Yeah.
solving that problem.
But then we just
Until
have
you
them
bring
again.
it back.
Until you just bring him back in the next
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, no, I mean...
But yeah, Dark World is underappreciated. Thor 2.
Yes, that one is... I mean...
I remember the audience
They
I
just-
saw it with loving it.
They're just consistently getting... I mean, with Thor movies, they just got consistently better. I mean, Thor 1 is fine. I would probably say out of the Thor
It's the
films,
weakest of the Thors.
It's the weakest of the
Yeah,
Thors.
sure.
Well, I mean, the problem with Thor 1 is that they had to make an introductory movie for Thor, and anyone sitting in this room, if somebody said, "Hey, can you write a script for our first Thor movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?" we would have written something very similar to Thor 1.
Yeah.
I mean, the worst thing about Thor 1 is that it is obvious that it's like you
It's
have
formulaic.
it's
movie because they had to
formulaic because
introduce him.
because they have to introduce the character, and
And not just the character. You need to introduce
mythos.
the mythos. You need to introduce his world, like all of that stuff.
because
I wouldn't have...
For any-
I would have
for
gone
any
straight
issue-
to a Thor.
for any issue you
then
have
it would have
with
had
Thor 1,
problems.
Yeah, I don't...
if it did not focus around Thor being a dick, Odin taking his power because Thor
Yeah.
is being
Oh,
a
yeah.
dick, and the whole and Thor going on the hero's journey to
regain his hammer.
regain his power, you would have been pissed off if the movie wasn't about that.
Because-
So for every formulaic bit, that's how the movie was going to be. Deal with it. It was good, even though you knew what was going to happen.
Thor isn't done enough to do Spider-Man: Homecoming. Thor isn't well known. Did I say well done? I meant to say well known.
No.
Thor isn't well known enough to do Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah.
You know, like we talk about stop with the origin stories, stop killing off Mr. and Mrs. Wayne, stop killing off Uncle Ben, because we all know Batman and Spider-Man. But
Correct.
yeah, Andy, I know you know Thor. Okay.
Yeah,
But
I know.
99% of Americans do not prior to Thor.
They
didn't know the comics.
People
They
don't know the Marvel's Thor.
Correct.
Marvel's
That's what I mean.
Thor
I'm not
is...
talking, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Thor.
Sure, I mean they've heard of the god, but like the rules of the Marvel one, they don't know. Yeah. They don't understand who Loki is. They don't understand the deal with the hammer and being worthy. They don't know any of this shit. So, like David said, you literally have to have this cookie cutter in order thing that needs to be that.
But it was like as I said before with comedy, that it's like, to me, one of the most underappreciated things in comedy is setting up a joke that you telegraph it from the beginning. You know what the joke is, and then play through it and still make it funny. Yep. And I mean that was Thor 1 was the action movie equivalent of that. You knew what was going to happen if you were familiar with the comics, because all of this would have to happen to introduce the character to fit it in with the greater universe, and they still made it good.
They could have still had a different villain than the Destroyer armor.
Sure.
Yeah, the Destroyer armor
that was a minor part of it. I thought
that was something that doesn't really. It's not
well, but once again, that was really early in the Marvel Universe cycle too. So they were also still working out what they could get away with.
Sure.
Also, the Thor movies got consistently better just because Hollywood as a whole has consistently increased its awareness of Chris Hemsworth as a comedic actor.
Yeah.
Like, if there was one good thing to come out of the new Ghostbusters, it was his performance, and people going, "Holy shit, he's hilarious!"
Yeah, and then they also had Guardians of the Galaxy 1, where they just had a movie and had one of the main roles being a fucking talking raccoon, and it was a great movie and everybody loved it. And so at that point, I think the Hollywood executives at that point are like, "Okay, sure, guys, you want to do this, do it."
Yeah.
The trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy 1, when that thing came out, it was one of the greatest trailers I've ever seen in my life. And they did the right thing, which was James Gunn knew that, sorry anybody who claims to have been fans prior to 5 years ago, but nobody gives a shit about the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, on the scheme of comic books, you give zero rat's ass about this Z-list side comic that people forget even exists.
Yeah, I practically know, I think, 2 people who admitted they knew about it before the movie got announced.
I did know as well.
Sure, but you know, they are trivia.
But I mean,
they are obscure trivia that nobody cares about, right?
I didn't know about the reboots and stuff like that.
Like I said, I know 2 people who mentioned them before news of the movies were coming out.
And they did the right thing, which is what they said, well, fuck it then.
Yeah, I could have named 2 of the characters before the movie, and that I'm like one of the few people that
I had heard of Rocket Raccoon because it made me think of Rocky Raccoon, the Beatles song.
That's how everybody could remember that character before the movie.
I knew that, and I had seen Star-Lord's mask once.
I knew Rocket Raccoon, and
I knew of Groot.
I knew Rocket Raccoon's friend was Groot, who could only say, "I am Groot."
But that's the thing, and even then, that's just like, I guess. Like, here's some interesting trivia. There's 2 characters nobody gives a shit about that are a Beatles song and a talking tree, right? And so they knew that, and instead of trying, they just leaned into it. They're like, "Fuck it, go." And
it's also. I mean, it fits in with the plans of what Kevin Feige and all them had for telling these stories, but they seem to like to let them be more creative and do what they do, and just let them do what they do. Yeah.
And then because of that, in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, they were able to do Thor Ragnarok, which, as Arctic Circle points out, is his favorite Marvel movie. It's probably mine as well.
It's my birthday.
It was just fantastic beginning to end.
I've seen that movie like 700 times just because Raylene wants Jeff Goldblum so much. So it's just always on in the house.
Quark was defeated by paper.
That is true. And he accidentally killed his friend who was scissors. Although it turns out he wasn't dead. But, you know. Yeah, no, it's a good movie. The other smart thing they did with Guardians of the Galaxy, it was subtle because it ended up not really mattering too much, is they set it earlier than the rest of the Marvel movies to give it time to grow if they needed it to catch up and needed to work it into it. And so the first one has like nothing to do with any of the Marvel movies with the exception that there's an Infinity Stone in it.
Correct.
And then they start to bring things in so that they can join them. But if it had just kind of shit the bed, they could went, okay, bye, and it wouldn't have mattered.
The stone gets found on some burned out planet.
Yeah.
There's a raccoon skull. Move on.
Right.
I mean, I'm kind of curious though. If let's say if Guardians did fail, would that have really thrown a big chink into the Infinity War? Because
because the stone. I mean,
the biggest part. I mean,
it is
that part
Thanos
of the world.
That part
if that would have failed, then you couldn't really introduce Thanos very
well. No, they had already introduced Thanos.
Yeah.
He was in
they
Avengers 1.
sitting in his floating chair, but I mean, like his world.
They would have to lean into it because, as it is now, you're right. The Guardians is the link where Thanos is Gamora and Nebula's father, and that's a link then into this.
Yep.
They would just had to have made it that Thanos is this evil guy, and these people that aren't in the series anymore, that's what's their relation to him instead of his relation to them.
Yeah, sure. The other thing is, if Guardians had failed, they probably would have been trimming humor then from future ones.
Yeah,
sure.
Plot-wise, ultimately at the end of Guardians 1, they handed the stone off to the Galactic Police, and that was going to be easy enough to...
Nova Corps, sir.
Yeah, they're half of them are dead.
Yeah.
Or maybe 3/4. I'm still not certain on the math of how that works.
No, I think that most of them are dead. Because didn't Thanos go wreak havoc there originally?
To get the stone, Thanos went there.
Yeah.
So half of them are dead. Like, that's a very strict rule that they introduced in Infinity War.
Yeah.
Right? So he didn't kill all of them to get the stone. He killed half of them while getting the stone. But then... I still don't know the rules with what happens. Do they get like a get out of jail free card where there's a buffer to the snap?
My guess is no.
Because that's just yeah. Now that's 3/4, and that's just rude.
Yes, but in the grand scheme of things, that's still a rounding error.
I guess.
Yeah.
Thanos is a big old jerk. What a jerk.
Nah.
Ebony Maw was too good for him.
Doctor Strange was also a great Marvel movie. Who's pulling that from chat?
Again, they're all ranking your favorite Marvel movie is like ranking your favorite blowjob. There might be one or two bad ones, but the rest of them are all pretty damn good.
Yeah,
it has been remarkable. It has been
you
remarkable.
Find a flaw with that, Andy?
No,
that's a pretty good analogy.
I wasn't actually paying attention. I was kind of glancing at chat, and I heard you, and then everyone laughed, and then I turned and looked.
Fair enough. You can catch it on the edit.
They have been remarkably consistent in making good movies.
I'm keeping up the illusion of professionalism.
Have you ever edited this podcast?
Oh yes.
By edit, I mean
what did you edit out?
The entire file and start.
He has edited
4 times.
4 times,
maybe. Out of 200 some episodes, I have chopped
How did
out.
you already forget the episode number?
240 some episodes, and actually probably there's even more than that too.
Yeah.
So we can have it. So like for the final podcast, we can show the deleted scenes.
Oh no, those are permanently deleted.
Yeah, there was somebody who requested their identity removed from one, so we had to edit out their name and also disguise their voice.
Episode 7.
Yep.
We didn't actually. No, he wanted to actually be removed off of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie Pain Train that we were gonna do.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. There's
and that's why that never came out. So if you go to moviepaintrain.com, you'll see that there's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that's missing. And I said that there was a recording error. That recording error basically was Andy was too lazy to edit and
the recording error was we recorded somebody and they changed their mind and that was an error.
Yeah.
Yeah, you also edited the one where I recommended Bates Motel because I talked about a plot point and you were not comfortable with that plot point, and so that got edited out.
Correct.
Oh yeah, I suppose in episode the April Fool's episode. Yeah, they do editing.
Well, that one
we didn't edit anything in April Fool's
that was perfectly fine. We had Beanish.
No, you did have to edit it because we interviewed Keith and we interviewed Swedish Muslim Jeremy on separate occasions, so he had to splice those together into the episode.
It wasn't editing; it was editing. You had to merge some files.
Sure.
There was the one where Brian basically told Jake Quimby to go kill himself.
That is also true. It's like that stuff's kind of wacky in person to the right extent.
Yeah.
Less so when someone's not there and you're just calling someone out and saying they should murder themselves.
No, yeah.
I
feel bad about bringing it up, but it was a plot point in our episode.
Yeah. True story. Oh, and then you and I had a fight once.
We had a serious fight. But as true friends, we can move on and Maybe never forget about that.
Is that a Lost reference?
I don't know. What? A Lost reference?
I'd say we've forgotten about Lost.
The meme, not the show Lost. The Penny Arcade. What's the shitty one? Control-Delete. Never mind. I'm not going to try to explain one of the classic memes of all time.
I don't know the Control-Delete one.
You don't know Lost.jpg?
I'm on it.
So there's Control-Delete is a terrible webcomic that sucks. And so, in an effort to actually have plotline, he had the main character's wife have a miscarriage.
God. Yeah.
And it's a zero-text, 4-panel webcomic, and there are so many amazing parodies of that. There's, like, stained glass where it's just, like, rectangles in the same positioning as the people. It's fucking art. Like, the Lost.jpg edits are one of my favorite memes. I kind of regret not putting it into the meme bracket.
Another one you missed out.
How many SpongeBob's did you have and you missed Lost.jpg?
I had 4 SpongeBob's because I wanted them self-contained in their own bracket, and also fuck you, SpongeBob memes are great.
I do like at least a newer one that I've seen is like, here's a list of things, like how can we have fairness in Warmachine or something like that, and fair and balanced lists in Warmachine, and it was like going through the 1 through 18.
The minimalism involved in that. Like, because that's the comic, and so you get stuff like that. Well, go on. Sorry,
but it was just basically like, what is the most overpowered faction in Warmachine? It was like, number one, there are no overpowered factions. Blah 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 blah. Cricks.
Oh my God! Look at that in Dark Souls. Somebody put scars on the. Oh, that's amazing. People are so clever. I love memes. Talk amongst yourself.
I have nothing to talk about.
Should we go on to Arctic Circle's question then?
Arctic Circle?
You have a Zappity?
Because probably spinning off of the Magnificent 7 Samurai discussion of last episode. He asked, what is a story you would like to see redone in a different genre?
Get closer to the mic if you're going to sit there and.
But he's just ruminating currently.
I'm just ruminating. You don't need ruminating that close to the mic.
I will say, I mean, some of the new animated Disney films have been. I don't know if it fits with here, with like Dumbo's being redone as a live action.
Sure,
I mean, it's.
But is that a genre or just a film technique? See, like, for example of genre, and this one's almost cheating because this is going back to what it should have been in the first place, and it's obvious that it's what it should have been in the first place, would be taking Star Wars and making it feudal Japan and making them samurai instead of Jedi, right?
Yeah.
And you have the same journey to fight it, and of course, Star Wars was inspired off of Hidden Fortress, and so Darth Vader already was. So that's why I said that one's cheating, but that's an actual different story genre versus just animated versus live action.
Like if you took Tombstone and put that into, future.
Sure. I'm your cyber Huckleberry.
I'm your Hungerford.
All done animated Futurama style. I'm not sure if that would work very well. Nah, it's kind of a more of an in-depth question.
Yeah. I'm
going to just go with Aliens as a musical. Pretty much anything as a musical.
Dude, man. Evil Dead the musical. Great stuff. Batboy the musical. Hells yeah. I have the Batboy the musical soundtrack. Hell yeah, I do.
I was going to say something with Tremors, but they've almost hit on every single genre out there.
Yeah, they have.
Except for Future. They haven't seen the sci-fi Tremors yet.
I mean, Tremors 6 is coming out this year.
That was the one that already came out.
It's already out.
And it is, unfortunately, the first Tremors that I can not even... Like, I cannot recommend
Jamie
Tremors
Kennedy
6.
In it.
No, yeah, like... like Tremors 1 and 2 are legitimately entertaining.
No,
Tremors
1 through 4 are good.
Well, I was going to say 1 and 2 are legitimately solid. Like,
Sure.
I won't even ironically recommend them.
Okay.
3 and 4 start to be, if you're drunk, they're kind of fun. You know, like guilty pleasures. Like, the most recent one is just bad. Like, not even guilty pleasure while you're drunk with friends. It's just plain bad.
Well, it's got Jamie Kennedy in it.
Yeah.
I mean, name a good Jamie Kennedy film.
I can't name.
Is there a snuff film with Jamie Kennedy in it?
Him getting killed.
Yeah.
That's great.
You could
Well,
do-
we could make it.
That would be a good Jamie Kennedy.
to answer the candidate,
Summer
to
Six
answer the
is a snuff
question
film?
seriously, a modern adaptation of A Tale of Two Cities.
Sure. Oh man, Jesus, I'm thinking of ones that do exist, which is unfortunate as opposed to thinking of new ones. But I really like the Romeo and Juliet from the '90s
The 97 one,
yeah.
the original
with DiCaprio and
yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Last Man Standing with Bruce Willis? That's just another fistful of dollars, which is another
Yojimbo.
Yojimbo.
Yep, it's Yojimbo, and yeah, my favorite thing about Yojimbo to Fistful of Dollars to Last Man Standing is how they handle the super weapon that the brother has. Because in Last Man Standing, like he's got like a Tommy gun versus everybody else having normal guns, and in Fistful of Dollars, it's like a high-powered rifle versus a revolver, and in Yojimbo, he has a gun. Like having a gun is a really big fucking deal. In everybody else has knives, and you've got a revolver. It's like I win.
Yep. So going back to Romeo and Juliet '97, I saw something a while back that was really interesting. Someone pointed out that like the original Shakespeare stuff, they just say "and they fight," and there's almost no setting in any of the
no
original,
blocking
in any of the original Shakespeare manuscripts. Yeah. So this English teacher was talking about how he gave his class an assignment where they just broke into groups of 3 and 4 and just had to come up with set this somewhere.
Sure.
And change as little as you can. And he said it was really interesting because they had everything from inner city to outer space for the same like 3 or 4, like Macbeth and Romeo and Juliet and stuff like that. But it was just a really cool thought exercise.
Speaking of Shakespeare's thought exercises, have you ever seen that thing? I know a few years ago it was a linguist tried to reconstruct English pronunciation from Shakespeare's time, and had a theater group perform Shakespeare with the original pronunciation, and as it turns out, a whole lot more of it rhymes than it does now.
So was he just assuming things should rhyme, and he worked backwards from there? But
a combination.
Sure.
It's
kind of like how they figured out how Romans spoke.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you take forms of poetry that are supposed to rhyme, and look at a collection of them, and the stuff that doesn't rhyme now, that in the form it's supposed to, and go back and start trying to figure out how you can make it rhyme by making the fewest changes. And it turns out a lot more of Shakespeare rhymes than it does now. I think that's just one of the interesting things about how some of these things that we didn't have the ability to record at the time, and how it changes. And it's just one of those weird things. It's like we think of all of the ancient Greek statues as picturesque, bare marble, but as it turns out they were garishly painted.
Well, and the other thing is stuff from prior to any form of writing it down. Like the big example I've always thought about is we have no idea what a Mongolian national anthem sounded like.
Yeah.
Or a lullaby that they sung to their children, right? And we never will.
Yeah, music and stuff like that has just lost the time.
Yeah, it's just gone. But prior to recording these things, either in print or audioly, it's just gone forever.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, they have some idea of what ancient Greek music sounded like, but it was just very rough from
right, because at least they were starting to, we have things from then, where they talked about like the ratio of the lines when they introduced.
Correct, but it turns out
stuff out.
Musicians don't write shit down. So.
Yeah, there's like so little. If you think about like how many people there are in the world now, and how many 8-track players that still function. There's a lot of music from the 70s that are just not known anymore, because 8-tracks don't
Arctic
rhyme.
Circle says, doesn't Beowulf predate written recording? It predates it probably predates what you would call English. That it was written in what may be charitably called a dialect of Danish.
But they wrote,
but it was written down.
It was written down, but they think as 200 to 300 years after they first collected it. So it still morphed a bunch.
Yeah, the earliest versions are from the 8th century, as I recall, and that was before that was about the time that English started to exist, and so people say it's the earliest English text, and that's very charitable.
When Bede was writing, and even then,
it is one of my favorite movies that retold Beowulf.
Yeah, and writing had been around for a few thousand years at that point.
The 13th Warrior.
Sure. Because I'm thinking, because Beowulf actually is a good one, because Beowulf is one of my favorite stories. I love Beowulf. I even like the shitty CGI Beowulf that they did with Angelina Jolie.
I would say it's really shitty, but
given that I'm saying I like it, but everybody else seemed to hate it. I thought it did some really smart ideas in it. I loved that that Grendel and his mother spoke in the original Old English dialect to denote their age versus everybody else who's speaking more modern English. I also like what they did with the dragon, because in the original Beowulf, he just fights Grendel and his mom, and then a while later, he fights a dragon, and they have nothing to do with each other. But in this animated film, they actually made the dragon be tied into the others with the whole whatever.
How did they handle and then 50 years later, he fought a dragon part?
They handle it with, so instead of Grendel just being the sea hag's son who just randomly hates this town, Grendel, the King Hrothgar, was seduced by the sea hag, and Grendel is his son. And that's his sin coming back to fight him.
Sure.
So Grendel kills Beowulf, Beowulf kills Grendel. Beowulf kills Grendel, then goes to kill the sea hag, is seduced, impregnates her, and then 50 years later, his son, the dragon, comes back to haunt him.
Nice.
Yeah. It was a really smart way to tie it into there. Like, it made it
that works.
Yeah, it worked really well. But so anyway, I was just Googling to check. There's been a dozen Beowulf movies. I don't think they've straight up done like the Mel Gibson Hamlet or anything like that. I don't think they've had Beowulf in the 20th century with a gun fighting some gangster named Grendel. Like, I would love that. I would love the Baz Luhrmann Romeo and Juliet treatment to Beowulf.
Yeah. I think that would be cool. Well, like I said, one of my favorite retellings of Beowulf is the 13th Warrior.
Yeah.
Speaking of 20th century things, they need to do a decent Macbeth one.
Maybe it's a little bit too recent, but I bet you could do a modern a version of Lord of the Rings set in present day.
I've got a.
No one walks that far.
I've got a trailer. I could probably post it up on here of Arnold as Macbeth.
Like I said, a good one. There's been like 3 bad Australian ones, and then everyone gave up.
No, it's Arnold. Arnold Schwarzenegger is Macbeth. It's great. To be or not to be.
Is that Hamlet?
That's Hamlet.
Well, but I mean, I think they put both of them in there for that.
Sure. Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him. Finish the line.
Oh, I thought you were just doing a Shatner
impersonation. No, I'm waiting to see who's going to finish the line.
It worked in the Shatner impersonation.
I can't remember it.
Well, it's one of those beam me up, Scotty things. Everybody says, alas, poor Yorick, I knew him well. But it was I knew him, Horatio. Similar to nobody ever said beam me up, Scotty. Nobody, Luke, I am your father. Nobody. That's not a line from the movie. He never says, Luke, I am your father.
Sinbad wasn't Shazam.
No. But he did play a genie recently in a parody of that.
Carl Sagan never said billions and billions until he wrote a book called Billions and Billions, making fun of it.
Yeah. Play it again, Sam? Nope. No. Just play it, Sam. You played it for her. You can play it for me. That movie's fucking amazing.
I thought it was play it, Sam. Play as time goes by.
That also is said.
Okay.
One of them says one of them says the other.
Okay, maybe it was Hamlet. My bad.
Well, yeah, to be or not to be is Hamlet. Macbeth is surprisingly not often, like, for being so well known, people stick with Hamlet and Romeo and Juliet and whatnot. You don't get a lot of Macbeth.
It's because Macbeth is surprisingly dark.
Yeah. And Macbeth is very dark. What is happening? Are you playing Last Action Hero while we're podcasting?
Maybe.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
I mean, it's not the worst audio decision we've made.
It's not the best. I don't think they can even hear that. So
No.
they're just hearing the silence of us listening to your other computer playing Hamlet. That's good stuff.
Quality production values here.
All right. That's
All right,
Hamlet.
All right.
Besides, it's Hamlet.
Well, it's just enough radio silence.
It's
A
fine.
little professionalism.
What?
Never. Oh my! Are you just turning it up instead? What was
I
happening?
did. I turned it off. It's off now.
You closed the right window, right?
Maybe.
Oh no!
We're still live. It would yell at me if I did that.
Would it?
It would. It would tell me.
And we're back.
So we're going to have the 5th edited podcast after that stretch of silence there.
No, I don't know. I run the truncate silence filter.
I mean, he edits every podcast if clicking the button that says delete silence is an edit.
Truncate silence. Yep.
Yeah.
I will do that. Actually, I have been doing that recently, though.
Yeah,
we have a lot.
I
of
remember probably 100 episodes ago where you probably pronounced that you would not use that.
Yeah, I was worried about it cutting stuff out, but I ran it and nobody's yelled it.
Well, and then you realize that maybe cutting stuff out every so often is okay, or a good thing.
Yeah.
We need you to dispose of things for legal reasons.
I posted a RoboCop 2 GIF just for Andy referencing Crippled System the other day.
Are they making another RoboCop movie for you?
That would hurt.
Because Jay he did one of those. I made a bot listen to 1,000 hours of Chain Attack, and then I had it write a Chain Attack.
God.
And so I
I
said
actually-
that I made a bot listen to 1,000 hours of Crippled System, and I posted the RoboCop
Oh,
2 where the thing rips its own head off.
Yes. I'm glad that you and I came to the same joke about that.
Yeah.
Because I was actually going to use that as a cold open. It's like, we made a bot listen to 1,000 hours Crippled System. It then quit to go work for Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah. No, those failed RoboCop 2s in RoboCop 2.
I recognized it.
You didn't know where you recognized it
I
from?
didn't know where I recognized it.
Yeah. There's that one that just rips its helmet off and screams and dies, and then there's the one that just starts shooting scientists. That movie's so good. Fuck the haters.
There's nothing bad about that film.
Nothing bad.
It's about the only film that Frank Miller has had his hands on that's good.
Yeah.
Because he did RoboCop 2 and 3.
But did he do one of those things where he hated it? Like, a lot of times creators will be involved in a movie that's good despite them being insane, and they'll say it's the worst thing ever, and they're like, that's fine, you're insane, so you're allowed to hate it. It's good over here.
Like Watchmen?
Or Dune.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Watchmen was the one. Watchmen was the first one that came to mind.
Alan Moore would have hated
Alan Moore hates everything.
Alan
everything
Moore,
that comes out of
when you look at Alan Moore's picture, he looks like Rasputin's crazier brother.
Sure. He is Rasputin's crazy brother.
Like, he's insane.
Yeah. No,
He hates everything, ever.
Including everything he's ever done.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. Is it HBO that's making a Watchmen series?
Were they? I didn't know.
Maybe.
I thought I heard some place that's actually doing a Watchmen series now.
I was thinking about the Frank Miller. I was trying to determine if I actually liked the Sin City movie.
Well, when was the last? Jim uses this as a basis for all movies now, and I'm kind of adapting it. When was the last time you watched Sin City?
What decade is it?
Yeah, exactly.
can't be that
They
good.
can't be that good.
Well,
I mean, that backfires very rarely because there
Sure.
are a lot of films that I loved and I don't want to watch again because they were like emotionally draining.
Yeah, like
Well, at
you
the
tell
same
me
time,
I
I-
should watch Big Fish, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
I'm
you're not even going to watch it the once.
No,
much less a second.
I don't actively choose to watch a movie I have already seen before. In fact, before I had kids, I don't think there was any movie I had seen more than 3 times. Having kids changes that calculus radically, though.
See, I watch movies differently than most people, and so that's not the same.
Yeah.
Like I dissect them.
Yeah.
Yeah, HBO is adapting Watchmen into, and it's supposed to be, from my understanding, and it's not a retelling of the book. It's more of just a continuation of certain characters from the book.
Like a Gen 1 or Gen 2?
I don't know where it's supposed to be.
There's no way this doesn't suck.
If it's Gen 1, it's okay. If it's Gen 2, well, hopefully they've had...
I mean,
Yeah, like if it's telling the gap between Gen 1 and the movie, like if this ends right before the movie, if this ends with the comedian going out that window
That
as
would-
the series finale,
that would be potential. Otherwise, Jamie Kennedy as Rorschach.
Sure. You know what? If they're continuing from the end of the film, you're allowed to cast Jamie Kennedy as Rorschach. I will stand by that.
Jeremy Irons is supposed to be in it, which could be bad or bad.
See, because then that's getting weird, because the character I could most see Jeremy Irons playing would be Night Owl 1, but that means that it has to take place before... Spoilers. That means it has to take place before the movie, or concurrent with the movie, because I'm not saying there's a lot more footage of Night Owl 1 at the beginning of the film than at the end of the film, or that there's a lot more of his brain matter on a bowling trophy. But you can't have him after the movie's over.
Yeah, they've already filmed the pilot, it looks like.
Sure, okay.
So it's going to be terrible.
We
don't need to watch it right now.
No, I'm not watching.
The pilot doesn't exist.
Yeah.
They just have filmed it. But I can't think of where...
Are we going to pain train it then?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Like, where can you put it that it doesn't suck? Like, only as a gap between 1 and 2, and even then it's pointless. You don't need a gap between the Gen 1 and Gen 2.
Yeah.
That's true. Actually, everyone's just retired.
Yeah, like...
Yeah.
Ugh. And if you do during Gen 1, like prior to retirement, prior to the Anti-Superhero Act, then you're just making 60s Batman movies.
I think that's honestly what they're...
Well, then that's not Watchmen. Because Watchmen is about...
It's unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely unnecessary whether it's good or bad.
Sure.
Correct, but I mean, yeah, it's just find a better IP that's not as already as polarized and toxic.
Like, if you want to make the Watchmen characters are all rip-offs of other characters already. Just do them. Mm-hmm. If you want a Rorschach show, just do the question.
The Watchmen. I mean, the Watchmen mythos is not really set up to be expanded. That it's kind of it has
everything it needs.
It has everything.
It's a deconstruction.
Complete.
So showing the construction of the thing that you deconstructed is irrelevant. And yeah, Rorschach's origin is a good story. It was a phenomenal story as one chapter in the graphic novel or 10 minutes in the movie.
Yeah.
It's not a series.
Or 15 minutes if you watch the 4-hour cut.
Like, yeah, sure. But, like, okay, maybe you stretch that to a half hour. Like, if you're telling me that you're taking each of their story... If you're taking each chapter from the graphic novel and making it a half hour to an hour-long episode, so you're really just doing a 12-hour version of the movie...
But people already hated the movie for being too close to the comic. And at that point, you're doing shot by shot.
Well, sure, right? But does then that make it better?
The movie was close enough to shot by shot.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And people hated it because it was
I thought the movie was great because it was very close to shot by shot.
I thought the movie was the best Watchmen movie you could make.
Correct. Yeah. They changed the one thing they had to
because
it work in the media.
Yeah, because the script was the actual comic. I mean, it was there were very few. There were very few changes from actually.
And the thing they changed, like Dan said, you had to because the original version only worked because of a Reagan quote that was contemporary at the time,
and because it's a book.
And I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know. You can still have that thing happen in a movie. Mm-hmm. It would be schlocky compared to the rest of the movie because we currently don't have the whatever, like
give it time.
Context. We don't have the context that the contemporary audience had, right? Like, people, when that book came out, just had Reagan famously saying only an alien attack could end this Cold War, and then you have a book where an alien attack ends the Cold War. So it works. We didn't have that when the movie came out.
We're getting a new Cold War, though.
Yeah, so that would be great. So that was fucking... Sorry. Well, will the new Watchmen series do like they did with Nixon and the other one and have like 30th term for President Trump in Watchmen 2?
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, they don't mention any of the characters in there. Basically, on the IMDb, it's all listed as just murdered man, rioter, mechanic's wife.
So basically, what you're saying is they're doing no marketing for it whatsoever, so it's a tax write-off.
Wait, HBO. I don't know.
Was the pilot done by Roger Corman? No. I want to see Roger Corman's Watchmen.
Honestly, that may be the only...
Doc Manhattan, just some guy spray-painted blue with his dick flapping around.
Honestly, Roger Corman may be the only person that could adapt that Alan Moore would look at it and say, this is okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just thinking about it. It's like, well, no, maybe it's a tax write-off. Maybe somebody at HBO, HBO got to that level and just said, you know what, fuck Alan Moore. I hate that son of a bitch. We're going to do an adaptation specifically to piss him off.
I mean, but if you think about it, Game of Thrones comes out next year. They need a tax write-off for 2019. Otherwise, they're going to actually owe money.
I'm going to go with the whole thing that the whole point is just to piss off Alan Moore because everybody adapting his stuff seems to piss him off.
We're pissing off Alan Moore by existing.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, we already said that.
He is the real-world example of the king of nothing. He hates everything and wants to be left alone.
Yeah. Well, because
after we pay for his product,
if an adaptation is too close to his work, he thinks it's some raping of his IP, and if it deviates, then he thinks that it's a betrayal, right? Like V for Vendetta purposefully changed things, and he hated it because of it.
Correct.
He was going to hate it no matter what. So why bother? Why bother trying to get Alan Moore happy? He'll never be happy.
Correct.
I had no idea that Death Race 2050 was not directed by Roger Corman.
Yeah.
Which is sad because it's very much a Roger Corman film made nowadays. And that was 2017.
Oh, and to rewind to the original question, I saw the first Sin City. I never saw Dame to Die or Kill or whatever because who cares?
I was warned off of it.
Who cares? Like, how do you make a sequel to? No, I just don't care. Nobody cared anymore. You idiots. But I saw the first one in the theater and I was like, was very well made, like artistically speaking. I appreciated the craftsmanship and everything, and I just hated it every minute of it.
Which one? The first Sin City?
Sin City, yeah. I just hated it. I could appreciate the cinematography and all the crafts. Like the actual nuts and bolts of it were really well done. I just fuck it.
I can't remember where was Sin City from on the Frank Miller contribution to insane but useful member of society to where he is now.
That was like right on the edge of the cliff.
The first one was decent, and then they did The Spirit, which was basically Sin City shit. And then
the Spirit had one redeeming thing, which was watching Samuel L. Jackson have a different outfit on literally every scene he was in.
But
if everybody had as much fun in that movie as he did, it could have been good.
Correct.
But they just.
Every so often is useful breaking out a picture of him in a Nazi uniform.
Yeah, I mean, the Spirit was basically a cinematographer on acid and Samuel L. Jackson, and there's nothing else in the movie that's really worth commenting on.
I don't remember anything else about it. I just remember him wearing a full-on SS uniform.
What Sin City taught me is that Miller has an obsession with penal trauma.
Yes.
Sure.
There are a lot of destroyed scrotums and penises in Sin City.
I guess
4, I think.
Yeah.
pretty much the only thing I really liked about Sin City is Marv. And he's about the only character I actually liked from that series.
I mean, Marv was basically. I mean, Frank Miller did that, and then I think it was like after that graphic novel, he just went off the cliff.
Yeah, I really liked the whole section of Marv in that thing too. When he's talking, I got my mitts, and the fight sequence in the hotel.
I would have loved a Marv movie.
Yeah, just a final Marv movie would have been great.
Yeah, part of it also is just that source material. You're not supposed to like anyone in it because they're all terrible people.
Yeah.
I like Marv.
Yeah.
I
don't know. It's just no.
It worries me that you know that this count this well, Arctic Circle.
Yeah, because somebody gets like a sword to the crotch. Yellow Bastard gets his whole thing just smashed to death.
Twice.
Smashed and torn off.
Yeah.
One time, isn't it shot once? I don't know.
I don't know, but there's a lot. Yeah. There's just way too much penal trauma for somebody with a healthy mental image to have put into their stories.
Roger Corman has directed and produced a lot of movies.
Yeah, he has. And all of them combined have a lower budget than anything Michael Bay has done, and they're all better.
Yeah.
I think it's
The Rock.
Rock is good. I like The Rock.
I like The Rock.
That's all I have to rebut you.
My biggest issue with The Rock is that they gave the villain an actual really good motivation. You're like, oh, I identify and understand, but then they're just like, but he's evil at the end. Like, they didn't actually use the fact that you as a viewer are torn about who's right and who's wrong.
I of all the people that advised him on that film on how things supposedly work, So there's gas, and gas is either usually a skin agent or a nerve agent. Mm-hmm. And this was a skin agent, is what they used in there. And a skin agent, what that means is that when the gas touches your skin, shit happens.
Right.
Stuff starts burning off, and they melt. And they showed it in the film. That's what happens when you get in contact with their VX gas.
Compared to, like, something like sarin, where if you hold your breath, you can walk through a cloud of it, and you're fine. That's the breathing agent.
Yep, that would be a nerve agent.
A nerve agent, yeah.
So things that can actually help you against a nerve agent gas is adrenaline, where, actually hitting yourself with a pen, like EpiPen or whatever that is, and that can get you through that.
Not in chest, back of knee,
or no, thigh. Usually the side.
Oh,
side
yeah,
of the
right.
Well, anywhere by that carotid artery, or the femoral artery, rather.
Well, they switched the military one to the thigh just because they learned that grunts can't aim.
Yeah.
It's a big,
And they don't need the excuse to show Uma Thurman's bra like in Pulp Fiction.
Correct.
But when you have Nicolas Cage sitting 2 feet from a guy after he does an uppercut into his mouth with a skin agent,
which had enough agent in it to kill off that entire island.
Yeah, just one little plastic bubble.
I'm just confused because I don't remember a 10-second countdown where at 5 it started spraying the skin agent out over the entire city.
Oh, that was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And then
that was actually glorious, though, too.
And then you have a fight scene where they're holding it up because if it falls, everyone will die. And then after the fight scene's over, they just throw it off a building.
Yeah.
And it's fine.
Yeah, that's the only thing that really bothers me about The Rock, other than, the over-the-top action, but knowing what a skin agent and a nerve agent is, and
switching halfway through.
Yeah.
Because if I remember right, at the beginning, they do treat it as a skin agent when they seal the guy in the vault.
Yeah, you see him melt.
Yeah.
Because he's in
and they're like, just
contact
kidding,
with it.
it's a nerve agent.
Yeah. Well, no, they still...
Just kidding, it's a skin agent that adrenaline works against.
Yeah. Yes, correct. But that's it, yeah.
But, scientific accuracy in a Michael Bay film. Good Lord. How many times do the Transformers, catch a human who fell, 50 yards?
Yeah, without any Gwen Stacy.
On their hard metal hands?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man, be a lot of
shown, they should have, pulled out their dashboard and the airbag went off.
That would have been clever.
That would be clever. It makes sense. Wasn't there some kind of animated sequence I saw on some show, maybe Family Guy, or somebody was inside Optimus Prime as he transformed?
And then there was just a stain.
Just a stain of people? Maybe?
There's a Perry Bible Fellowship comic that
that's
happens.
probably what it was, yeah.
There's also the one where, they're rolling down, they're walking down the street, and they see somebody, that needs help, and so they just transform into a pickup truck and a fridge in the back of the truck and just drive by because they don't want to get involved in the they don't want to get involved in the mugging, so they just transform into cars to not have to help.
Somebody in chat is talking about Hordes. I think they must be in the wrong Twitch channel.
I'll talk Horm Awards.
Talk Warmachine.
I'll talk Warmachine and Hordes. Yeah. We have the CID that's probably going to hit this week, more likely.
Yeah.
Oh, the ret cancer.
Oh yeah, the ret awesomeness.
Is that what you're calling the ret cancer? Why are you calling it ret cancer, Dan?
Let's think about the normal internet ret player.
Oh yeah.
It'll be cancer. It'll be enjoyable, but the first day it will be cancer. I'm curious to see if someone beats the Minion record for banning.
This is
20 minutes.
I want to see what they do with Nail.
He's fine the way he is.
No, he's the worst. Every time I field him, he blows up in the middle of my army, and that's not my fault. That's the model being bad.
Okay.
What am I supposed to do? Position him differently?
Yeah.
You're insane.
Yeah.
And then there's one guy on the Discord that keeps saying that the AFG isn't very good.
He's retarded.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have as many hit points as all the others do, so it's bad.
It doesn't matter. It's unchargeable and has carapace.
Yeah.
Nothing gets to it.
I don't know if I've actually ever killed one of those. I've blinded them and spun them around, but I've never killed them.
If you spun them around, you can charge them then.
Correct, but at that point it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Because at that point you're just an Operation Win by TK.
And if you're playing them playing them under the correct caster, Kalissa, one of them can't be TK'd anyway.
God, they're just, yeah.
So I'm betting. I'm wondering if we're going to see any requests for AFG buffs. That's what I'm hoping for, really.
The AFG will be brought up a bunch.
Well, will they bring it back to when it first came out, where technically it got infinite shots that all created rough terrain and had blast damage?
I'm trying to remember.
Probably.
I'm trying to remember which loophole that one was.
Every time you shot it, you chose one of three things. One of the choices was leave rough terrain. Another choice was shoot twice. So you shoot it once and choose shoot twice. Then each of those 2 shots you choose shoot twice. So now you have 4 shots. Each of those 4 you choose shoot twice. Now you have 8 shots.
Got it.
You do that till you have infinite shots, and then you have all of those be rough terrain blast damage. You kill everything and leave rough terrain everywhere, and then it's your opponent's turn.
Got it. So it was the same. It was the lock flop.
So it's Madrak.
Yeah.
It's Madrak all over again. Now with rough terrain.
You measured the control. You measured the complete range, almost like in control area of the AFG,
Plus
and
scatter.
say plus scatter. You're right, and say all of this is rough terrain.
And
anything in here that if I roll a 12 takes a single point of damage is dead.
Yep.
That's mathematically provable.
You're not supposed to radial damage with the AFG.
It's mathematically provable, Andy.
Yeah, that was like the math when someone did the week 1 lock proof of this is what we'll all die.
Well, or the other one that was mathematically provable, but they didn't even have to do any kind of erratum. They were just like, okay, sure, good luck actually doing it. Was the Minuteman being in your back arc, but not in melee, but also being base to base, and
but still able to shoot you or something like that.
Well, right, because it's base to base in your back arc, but its front arc is such that it's over a half inch away from you, even though it's base to base. So no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We had somebody saying within like 0.001 inches.
Yeah, it's something super super tiny, and we had somebody at our local store arguing about that. I'm like, all right,
place the model. Place the model. We'll check.
But my intention, no.
Yeah. Your intentions are whatever. Manufacturing tolerances say otherwise.
I've told it before, but my favorite, when they first rolled out, really pushing intention to get around like flag bumps and stuff like that, was a Warmachine weekend, and my opponent was somebody playing Rhett, and the very first thing they did after setting up, they had left like a gap between a couple models. They had Discordia go to walk through the gap, couldn't fit because they'd fucked up their deployment, and they went, my intention was to leave enough room, and just tilted Discordia, moved it through, and then kept walking. Like, that's not how intention works.
And then the fight started.
I just laughed at him. I mean, when somebody starts like that, you're in for you don't need to be a jerk. You gotta buy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's still not the best Warmachine weekend story, which was the last LCQ for me in Mark II, where it took till round 3 before someone had played against Gatsby 2.
Oh, poor them. My favorite...
Because I remember walking up to people and they were really angry that I kept winning. I mean, they're like, yeah, I played another guy who didn't know what Gatsby 2 did. They're like, you fucker.
Yeah. How are you facing people who don't know?
Mark II? I mean, he's like the Vlad 2 for...
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't feat till
Mark
round 3 of that tournament.
Jesus Christ.
My favorite...
Well, technically you don't need to feat generally most of the time with the Gatsby 2.
But that's against people who know what he does, so you're playing around it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I love that anecdote of Keith playing against somebody who had never played against Gatsby 2, and Keith feated and put out these 10 things, and the guy's like, whoa, do those stay till the end of the game? And Keith stopped, thought for a second, and went, yeah, they do. And he was right. They stayed until the end of the game.
I had one game at a tournament where I was playing my Harkovich Kodiak's list, and the guy kind of looked away while I was taking my turn, and so I measured it out because I even got my widget so that I can manage my runs exactly perfectly, so I can do it quickly and fairly. And he turned around and looked at the board and said, well, I think I'm screwed now because I looked at your card and it's like, those are Kador jacks. How did you get them that far up?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm playing Harkovich. It's like, oh.
Oh. Well, I got freaking when Bradigus was first just busted when he first came out, and so everyone was playing Bradigus. I played in that LCQ, and my first 3 games were all 3 against Bradigus, and all 3 of them I assassinated the Bradigus player with Arcadius because none of them had ever seen Arcadius. And every single one of them put up this 15-inch wall of forest, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going around that. That is nothing to me because I just run one brigand up to here. And they're like, what are you doing? And you're like, don't you worry about it.
Yeah, then Frenzy next turn.
Yeah, I'm like, feet. Oh, I killed my brigand. Oh no.
Oh look.
Oh look.
Right there. Right there.
Oh look, it was a Bradigus. Yeah, my first 3 games, every one of them like clockwork.
And then DNC happened, and you played Midas.
No, it was. I fucked up. I should have won my 4th game. It was against Gorshade 3, and I had him beat, except that I surrounded his cavalry, and I left one of them just enough room to fit out because I had my 3 guys in a triangle, but I didn't double check the triangle, and so it was lopsided. So he was able to run out one side, run around, sloppy measure, and get to Carver to feet and freeze me and then shoot me to death. I think that thing went 3 extra inches, but of course by then, whatever. It was mostly disappointing because that's the time that I had gotten DC to agree that if I won the LCQ, they would officially change deep water and shallow water rules to my rules.
I know I had a tournament.
Which they ended up doing anyway, I guess.
Yeah.
I had a tournament that I had 3 consecutive players call a judge on me for the same thing, and that was abusing throws with Harkovich.
Well, you know.
Yeah, it's like, can I call a judge on that? Because that doesn't make sense. I'm like, go ahead.
He's explained it twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the Milwaukee tournaments, wasn't it?
There's well, no, that was Travis was one of the people that called. Travis was like, I don't think it works that way. So let's just call a judge. I'm like, okay. The judge comes over, reads it off. And it's like, you're right. I'm like, okay. And it's like, I lost the game, but I mean, having Travis Marg call a judge on you and you being correct, that's a moral victory every time.
What was it? Was it the laser throws before they changed it, or what was?
This was. I mean, this was after changing. This was that. This was that a throw that is out of range is laser.
Yeah.
Well, and that's when you were doing the least disturbance trick too, right?
Yeah. Well, this was before getting to the least disturbance. The least disturbance just makes it hilarious.
Oh man, they had to fix that frickin' putting sea kings over a wall trick. What? Holy moly!
Okay, so. First of all, Chuck should have known better.
Why the fuck does that pig promote? Why does that pig promote? That's the root of everything.
Okay. So what you do is you take a Sea King, put it by a wall, and then start of your next turn, you walk a unit of Fire Eaters up, you put the pig base to base
behind the Sea
King, and then you kill off the unit leader and promote it. The pig goes from a small base to a medium base. At least disturbance the glacier or the Sea King, who gets pushed over the wall and then has to snap forward.
So that Sea King just goes forward like movement. It's like a 10-inch move.
It can't. Yeah. Front of base, back of base clears where the front of base.
Oh yeah. So it's more like a 7 or so. Yeah, it's big. Yeah, because least disturbance, you always move the model. You don't move the thing that was promoted. It stays where it is. Why does that pig fucking promote?
Well, thankfully, Jaden was honest enough to talk to Travis about it before lock and load, and Travis immediately fixed it. He's like, hold on a minute, I need to break my phone out and purple something.
But it's still not fixed because they just say, don't move the thing or whatever. What do you do with the field promote?
I thought they changed it so that the pig doesn't promote again.
Oh, I thought they just said, don't disperse.
Well, the Friday morning, I need to fix this so the game doesn't blow up, was, no, it doesn't work like that in purple. And then I think they did go back and actually fix it.
Yeah, but the pig just needs to have a special rule where, can't field promote.
Correct. But like I said, Jaden at least was honest enough to ask about it ahead of time instead of having his round whatever opponent get called over and then going, tournament's running, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, it's just, wow. Sea King 6 inches forward.
Now, the worst I've done with that was least disturbance somebody's caster from behind a wall to in front of a wall. Yeah. That was beautiful. This was the guy told the guy.
But that was with the throw. That wasn't with a field promotion of a different size. Yeah. Right, yeah.
Yeah, throw, I could see that. But yeah, field promotion is, that's well,
there's not a lot of field promotions where you change size.
Artillery doesn't work that way. Artillery just
They have take-up.
They have
take-up. Yeah.
I think the fighters.
All
might
the rules
be the
I
only
recommended in Mark II were all in Arc 3, and that includes the take-up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because most other things, they have different sized grunts. Things like the shamblers. They have the officer rule, and things that don't. I don't know any others that don't have the officer rule, and they don't have the officer rule just because either of the medium bases are fine. So they don't need the officer rule. But then that's just. Yeah.
Actually, is take-up optional?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
There's this,
But you still wouldn't field promote.
Yeah,
The artillery.
It's the artillery. The artillery
You would lose
Yeah,
the
the artillery,
artillery
yeah,
piece then,
it's
and stuck with just a random
technically
point.
optional, but there's almost no reason to not do it. About the only reason to do is if you're getting pulled out of a contestant zone or something like that.
Yeah, or if you've got something with multiple attacks that's just going to kill it anyway, and you're like, well, fine, the grunt's just going to live over here out of your melee
Correct.
range.
Yeah.
Yay, Warmachine talk and Hordes talk.
We did it.
Hooray, Team Us.
All right, we should go to we did a Zappity Grumble. I don't know if we have.
So
any
I
more.
know Arctic Circle said that was from. He wanted to make sure Facebook wasn't forgotten. So I don't know if there's anything else out there.
Well, that
Well,
was
there's-
he
Arctic
posted
Circle.
that on Facebook.
Is there anything else on Facebook?
There-
We're all too lazy to look.
No, that was the story that you'd want to be built into a different genre.
He had also posted that on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I should.
Dan saying you should see if in that Facebook thread there are other questions.
Not you, Andy. I'm farming it out to chat.
No.
I know.
Well,
that.
yeah, but I can do it too. I've got buttons.
All right, then I'm going to recommend you see Ant-Man and the Wasp.
It was a good film.
Yep.
It ties really well to all Marvel films.
It's a prequel to Infinity Wars.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Make sure to watch the.
Is the
there are
next
two.
one Captain Marvel?
Next one's supposed to be Captain Marvel because
Yeah.
Captain Marvel was supposed to be this one, but they bumped her to fit in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Okay. That shouldn't, because they're small. They could have fit in easily something.
The
Joke
weird part.
reference.
So thinking about this as compared to Star Wars, so we had Last Jedi in December, and then we had Solo a month ago. Okay?
Yeah.
In that same time period, we've had how many Marvel films?
They're doing 3 a year now. So they've had 2.
Even more.
that's 3 a year they're
we're
doing.
3 right now, and
No.
Ant-Man and Wasp,
And
Infinity War.
Thor, Ragnarok.
Thor wasn't this calendar year.
Thor was in November.
Oh.
No, but fucking Black Panther.
That was the last year.
Well, Black Panther was this year.
Black Panther was February, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Black History Month? Makes sense. We've had 3 already this year?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, and that doesn't feel like that. Does not feel like it's been overdone. Because it is all individual films, though, too. I mean, like Black Panther was really more of just his own movie. Ant-Man and Wasp is kind of just their own movie. Infinity War was the big one, but yeah, no, it's not. It feels like it should be oversaturation, but it's not.
Bring back Ebony Maw.
Well, I mean, they're all. I mean, as we said earlier, they're remarkably consistent with the quality. So, yeah, it's like they're not overdone because they're all different. All different stories that aren't so tightly intertwined, with the exception of the Avengers stuff.
I was worried about this one being bad, kind of like I was worried about the original Ant-Man being like, oh, this is going to be it. This is going to be the one. And they just keep on surprising me.
You have a lot of stories told by that Mexican guy?
There's at least one.
Okay.
There have been
I mean, they didn't overdo it. I mean, they didn't revisit the well a lot in this one, which is good because, man, that is really bad when they just kind of... Deadpool 2 was an amazing film, but they revisited that well a lot in that film.
Yes, Black Panther was this year, so there are 3 this year, and the next one scheduled is Captain Marvel in March of next year.
Oh, is it March of next year? Oh, I thought it was Christmas.
No.
Oh, so it is 3 a year. They just really front-loaded this year.
Yeah.
And there are 3 scheduled for next year.
Yeah. Captain Marvel's. So when is Infinity War the end?
Untitled Avengers film is May 3rd, 2019.
Somebody leaked it called The End.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on the other hand, somebody leaked that Yondu was in it.
Yeah.
So
Spider-Man.
read the same article.
Yeah, and Spider-Man Far From Home is the 3rd one in 2019.
No, there's the Spider-Man movie that's happening in December.
Into the Spider-Verse, that's Sony, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
It's
not
not
Marvel.
MCU.
That's still Marvel.
It's a Marvel.
No,
it's
no,
not
no.
an MCU.
Are you counting? Are you counting Deadpool 2 as a Marvel movie?
I kind of, yeah.
No, that's not a Marvel movie.
I mean, that sale hasn't
get
gone
out of
through yet.
here! Get out of here!
Although didn't Disney buy Fox? So
I don't.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
'Cause
And
they
the
got,
mythos haven't merged yet. Is the important
They
thing.
got counteroffered, and then they came back for like, fine, we'll put another $15 billion on top of it, and everyone else is like, well, fuck.
20th Century Fox is going to make out like bandits.
Andy at least knows that I'm excited about Into the Spider-Verse for obvious reasons.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm excited about Enter the
I saw a trailer finally.
Miles Morales.
Yeah.
I'm a big team Miles.
I saw a trailer for it finally, and I don't. The animation just kind of threw me off a little bit.
Yeah,
it's
it is a
very
little funky.
stuttery.
I like the animation
It
style.
looks. I mean, it looks fine, but it just feels stuttery. I'm sure it'll work fine as a film, but just
I kind of understand what you're saying, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I do like Spider-Man. I do like Miles Morales. I'm interested to see people being confused because like
well, it's an older Peter Parker. I mean, it's basically like it's almost like The Dark Knight Returns.
sure.
With coming out not out of retirement that per se for Peter Parker. but
Sure.
he's an older, more wizened
he's
Spider-Man.
20?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no other Zappity Grumbles. But my recommendation is to watch The Expanse. We've talked about The Expanse a ton of times on this podcast. I just got done watching season 3 of it. It is fucking an amazing show. If Sci-Fi would have had their way and still had the show canceled, just watching it up to season 3, it fits as a nice bookend to the show. So even if Amazon didn't pick it up for more seasons, but goddamn, that show is just a solid good sci-fi flick. Everyone should watch it. Is anybody else not? You don't watch it, do you, Nathan?
I've heard it's good.
Yeah.
I heard it's good.
I need to watch it because the board game is super good, but one of the factions in the board game, it existing, is a spoiler, and so I can't play the game
Until you play like 3
until
episodes.
I watch some of the show. My guess is that there's some like splinter group that forms or something, and they're in the board game, but I don't know. I don't know anything about the show. Never watched it. I just know board game good. Can't play board game yet.
I can't play board game either because I'm not gonna. I know the books are out there, like up to 9 books now or so. I am not going to read a single book until the show is done. I don't want to Harry Potter myself. Is basically what I want.
Let's be honest, Andy. You're not going to read a single book.
No, I'm not going to read a single book, but I'm going to hold
I don't just
on
mean
to
in
that.
the Expanse.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just not going to read a single
Correct.
book.
But I'm holding that ideal. I'm holding that alive.
Now you have a reason
So
for
what
it.
you're saying is I should do that with Game of Thrones, because I just also will never have to then watch any of it.
Yeah, just watch the show. Fuck it. If you
I've thought about it. I just don't know when I'll have 60 hours to sit down and watch stuff. I looked into it when the last season was about to start. I'm like, I should get caught up. Oh no, I
it's
don't.
not it's not too
69 hours.
bad. Now is the perfect time to get into it. 69.
Oh, I was just laughing at the word hours
Oh,
because it has a silent H. That's crazy. Silent H's.
see, but I didn't have
Okay,
the
Glenn
H's in there. Right. No H's in my laugh either.
Nathan, save us.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I will a repeat just because Nani, Clitty, and Nick mentioned it in the chat. I will repeat the advice to not watch Jurassic Park 5, Jurassic World 2, Fallen Kingdom 1. It is shit. It is garbage shit. It's garbage.
I'm trying to avoid that, but my 7-year-old absolutely is obsessed with it and wants to see it. So my wife and I are arguing over who gets to take them. Who
Just
gets to take
Wait
them.
until it's on Redbox, and then you're only out of.
Bring a flask. That's how I got through the Mummy. I don't know if Andy put our pain train up. I don't think he did because it's me drunkenly quoting the Red Letter Media guys.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, it was almost a verbatim of what we watched. Yeah.
At least I was drunk. I don't know what your excuse was. Just that they were right.
They were so right.
But yeah, so don't watch Jurassic Park 5, Jurassic World 2, Fallen Kingdom 1. It's crap. It doesn't make sense. It's nothing but plot holes. It's yeah.
We could pain train that when it comes to video.
Fucking A. So
We
dumb.
could
Actually,
flask it.
did I ask this question last time I was on? So, Crystal Skull or World 2?
Man, I think... Jesus. Oh, man, this is Sophie's choice like a motherfucker.
I would take Crystal Skull.
I think I'm taking Crystal Skull.
I would, because
Wow.
I haven't even seen Jurassic Park.
Jesus.
The Jurassic World 2. I haven't seen that one yet, but
Fucking hurt.
but Crystal Skull at least
Did I get
has
better than the
You did.
Mary Fuck Kill Rank or Tam Wolf one?
Yeah.
But at least Crystal Skull has like some semblances of Indiana Jones in there once in a while. You know, it has enough to not whitewash the rest of the film or to
And-
stucco them into walls like the rest of the film.
It has
but it has enough-
It has Harrison Ford playing Indiana Jones in a poorly plotted movie.
Crystal
Yes.
Skull was
that's
not
something.
fine until the end, Nick. The end was not the problem with Crystal Skull. The everything was the problem with Crystal Skull. But at least Crystal Skull...
I need a gas can.
Yeah. Okay, I figured out why my vote is Crystal Skull. Is because even though the other three are legitimately good, the Indiana Jones films have always been inspired by these shitty serials of like 1930s
Yeah.
cinema.
Yeah.
The Commander Cody, Radar Men from the Moon, just garbage. And Crystal Skull is garbage, but it's garbage in the same way those are. And so it's forgivable because it's bad in a way that you're like, okay, you're supposed to be bad. It's like if somebody tried to make an elevated Twinkie, but it still was a fucking Twinkie, at least it's still a Twinkie. Like, it's not, and that's what we get with Crystal Skull.
If the other Indiana Jones films didn't exist, or if this one came out right after one, I think it would probably be fine.
You are blocking a lot of details from your memory. You're forgetting the greaser boy monkeys.
That wasn't his fault.
What?
That wasn't his fault.
What in whose fault?
That wasn't Shia LaBeouf's fault.
I'm not blaming Shia LaBeouf. I'm blaming the movie for having like frickin' rockabilly comb-over monkeys with Yeah, when Shia LaBeouf swings through the jungle like Tarzan with the monkeys, the monkeys have rockabilly hairdos just like Shia LaBeouf's character does.
No.
Yes, they do. They stop, and like the monkey like grooms its hair, and he combs his hair like with the monkey. They do it like mirroring each other. Like, shit like that. It is a terrible movie.
I don't remember that.
But it's terrible in a way that you go, man, that's really terrible, but I guess it's dumb
Dan, are you
in
looking up
an
a picture
acceptable,
to prove
dumb
me?
way. Jurassic World is just awkward garbage.
Maybe if it had like all the original cast from the first Jurassic Park, then you could have that.
Maybe.
You know,
It-
if
it
Sam
was-
Neill was in it, it might be-
Intentionally or not, Crystal Skull feels like it winks, at least somewhat. Like it
Yeah,
knows
that's
it's
what I mean.
schlocky.
That's what I mean.
Jurassic World tried to be good, and it was not.
Okay.
It is not.
I mean, all of the Indiana Jones movies knew they were schlocky.
Sure, but they were schlocky and all. Well, I don't know. Like fucking A, man. The super racist meal in Temple of Doom is a shame. But aside from that, like, yeah, like they're schlocky, but in a way that's well executed.
I mean, my
Temple of
favorite
Doom
of
you
the
need
two.
to pick and choose from anyways.
Man, if it's not for just the blatantly racist meal, I'm okay with literally the rest of Temple of Doom. Nothing else bugs me.
I'm not. Temple of Doom is my least favorite of.
It's everybody's
of the three.
least favorite of the three originals, and that's fine.
I mean, I like Raiders. Raiders is great.
It's just
and
other
then-
people go like AAD, and I'm like AAB. Like I like it just fine.
I mean, it's solid.
B asterisk.
I just
It does involve the kid element, which is one of my favorite. Not my favorites. Jesus, one of my hated things about Hollywood during that time.
Oh, it's fine. We were kids. We needed a short round to look until we wanted to be short round. It was like the Goonies. Were you mad the Goonies had kids in it?
No, the Goonies was that was kid element. The movie. That was fine.
I've had several friends from India, and I don't remember any of them eating live snakes for their fucking feasts. I went to their house for Thanksgiving. We had curried turkey.
You didn't have monkey brains?
We did not have chilled monkey brains. We did not eat live snakes. Like,
what?
Jesus, really? Weirdos.
The person I knew that ate monkey brains was my grandmother.
I mean, brain was the least weird thing. It was the live snakes. Brains, fine. Bugs, fine. They're not traditional Indian cuisine, but at least they are food that, in theory, you could eat. But when they're just eating live snakes and whatever.
I watched Alone, and I know that you can't eat just a snake by itself because the stuff will cause issues with the meat.
I played Metal Gear Solid 3.
Can eat it. It's just a bad idea.
Well, I mean, it could taint the meat and make you violently ill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can do it.
I had rattlesnake
guess you
sausage
could.
once. I had rattlesnake sausage once. It was good.
Yeah, rattlesnake's fine.
But I mean, you
need to make sure you're eating the meat, not the venom.
Yeah.
All right, Dan.
All right, well, this conversation actually got me something to recommend. So, Metal Gear Solid 3, go buy a PS2 or potentially a PS3 and play it.
Yeah.
Oh, PS4. It's on the collection.
Is it?
Yeah, Snake Eater's on there. Yep.
Nice. Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to go spend some money.
Yeah, the original Metal Gear Solid 1 and 3 are my favorites of the Metal Gear. The other ones are just too batshit insane.
Two is I love the cinematography. I love the storytelling of 2, but 2 is the villains in there are
shit
just
insane.
fucking crazy.
I love that it's batshit insane.
And some
Correct.
people do, and
Yeah.
that's the thing. The Metal Gears get way more batshit insane, and that's fine.
Well, and
one was like a realistic Tom Clancy novel compared to where they're at now.
Correct. I would say, for 2 Metal Gear Solid stories, one, it's not the worst one, because Assassin's Creed, I did almost throw a controller through a TV at the end of one of them. But the other thing is, for when Metal Gear Solid 4 came out, one of my friends picked it up and he was like, I'm just going to let you play this. So I went down to his house, and Friday night he just sat on the couch and watched it, and I just played it straight through until Sunday morning.
It's a movie.
Yeah, and he was like,
And the cutscenes are like 2.5 hours in that fucking game.
Yes. We legitimately timed a 90-minute cutscene in there. Like, we ordered pizza, and it came, and we ate the pizza, and I still hadn't touched the controller.
I do. 3 is great, and I'll be a little. I'll not spoil it outright.
I mean, it's
but
been
as
out
far
for
as-
15 years.
But I'm still going to say this for anybody who listens to you, and just because it's cool.
Oh, yes.
There's an actual in-game mechanical reward, not just like getting infinite ammo at the end or whatever, but there is an in-game, completely fluff-justified benefit to going no-kill. And it's a really cool way that they do it.
Have I no-killed 3?
Yeah.
I gave up on that one because one of the bosses is a bitch to
The
no-kill.
boss is less the thing, but
Yeah.
one of the
No,
boss
but
fights...
one of the boss fights is a bitch to no-kill, and it's not
Yeah.
the end one.
Sure.
It's the rocket guy.
Yeah.
Is the one that...
They're all technically no-killable.
They are, but
even
he's
just killing
he's
the bosses.
hard
I'm just talking about
one.
like random guards, random animals, stuff like that. The game keeps track of all the guards and animals and stuff you kill, and there are repercussions the more of those you have killed.
Correct.
And that was just a
Oh,
cool
that's
idea.
right, that one.
Yes, that one.
Yes. I forgot about that. Yeah.
That's in 3, right?
Yes.
That's not in 5. I'm not mixing up 3 and 5. Yeah, that's
No.
in 3. That's
Yeah.
in 3, yeah.
In 5, the only benefit for no killing is then you can just Fulton everything.
Yeah. And Fulton's fun.
Yes.
All right.
Even then they make you kill your own fucking men, and they hum your theme song while you do it, you sons of bitches.
Well, I'm going to thank everyone for watching. Dave, you had one, didn't you? Or
I already recommended. Ant-Man
Oh, that's
and the
right. You
Wasp.
did first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So-
we did this weird order because I
Yeah.
couldn't come up with anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, I just want to cut it off here because Travis has got his Twitch streaming that's happening right now.
We're kicking it over to Travis.
Gonna kick it over to him. He's over on channel Nikuru.
Can't you make like a thing where our
It's-
people invade him?
Did you already do that?
I've seen that when like Games Done Quick stops broadcasting and their entire audience ends up on somebody else's channel.
I don't know if we can do that.
It's a raid.
They'll all be mods. Anytime Andy does anything with the panel,
Yeah,
Just make them all mods.
I shouldn't touch the panel.
Okay,
but
that's
we're going to be auto-hosting them anyway. So
So
once
he'll
it's
be on
streaming-
here.
Yeah,
Oh,
he'll be on
that's the
stream.
reverse then. Yeah.
But thanks all for watching. We'll see you next week, and we'll have more WITC stuff.
Yep.
We'll probably talk about some of the lists and teams.
We're going to be talking
Be on
about. We'll be talking about
Next week
teams.
is
We'll be
the-
talking
yeah.
about Retribution CID.
correct.
Talking about Octopath.
Yeah, next week is still the team name discussion, and the week after will be lists.
Yep.
Thanks everybody.
Oh yeah, because it's the 20th.
Because I have until the 20th to build Crucible Guard models and figure out what I can physically field.
Bye.
Bye.